So I did agricultural science at UQ, so in Brisbane. Yeah, so I finished high school and I liked farming, had a vegetable farm, and I thought, I'll do ag science. So I went off to uni. I'd only just recently become a Christian at school, so I was still discovering what that was all about. So it was great to go to uni and start courses, but to start to join some different Christian groups. A group of us, we would go to different groups. So there was Power to Change and EU and a bunch of different groups, and so we'd kind of do the
rounds,
the Christian pub crawl kind of a thing. Yeah, so. And eventually we just kind of settled on Power to Change. I think maybe because it was, lively, it was interesting. But I think that because they had a structure of getting people into small groups and an intentional focus on training, which was interesting, and it was a little difficult because, we had a focus on our studies, but it was also good because it was challenging us to put priorities on other parts of our lives. So I came to the end of my degree, and of course, as everybody does, you start to think about a career, and I had a girlfriend at the time and thinking, life's getting serious and I've got to get a job and all those kinds of things. But at the same time, there was this question of Jesus' call on our lives and on my life, and what am I going to do with the rest of my life, and am I serious about the Great Commission? And I thought, well, I think this is important, so I decided, no, I'm going to forego that whole chasing a career thing and basically go into the campus ministry. So I thought, I could continue to do this here. So I joined How to Change, and I thought they'll just station me here in Brisbane, but they sent me to Sydney, which was very interesting. Difficult, but it was a very interesting change in my life. There was some short-term projects going overseas. I ended up going to India, and that was really difficult. Lost a lot of weight, nearly died. We were in West Asia for nearly 10 years.
Okay.
Ended up being the first national campus director in West Asia. So we had 4 campuses at the time, I think. So questions around, well, what does a campus ministry look like in that kind of a country, and working in multicultural team situations? And we had the very first international stint come on. So some local, two of the first local believers joined our campus ministry. When I left, I always said I left with my guitar and a spare pair of underpants, and you just didn't know what was going to happen, and it just very, very uncertain and just crazy times, and you get arrested and you don't know what the future holds, right? But here I am 30 years later, 40 years later, I look back and I go, wow, that is just unbelievable. It was difficult at the time, but it was such a privilege. I met so many people, they're still my friends. So yes, it's much, much easier looking back going, wow, that's a great blessing, than what it is looking forward going, I've got no idea what's going to happen. But I'm also chair of the board of Power to Change. So I don't know how much people know about what it means to what the board does, but there's a lot of good people, they're volunteers, and it's a lot of work. The leadership, I know when you have to live within an organisation, you have to live with the decisions that are made. There's people that put a lot of thought and effort, and it's very difficult, and lots of hours of working through these issues and coming up with something that's going to help give the organisation structure so that people can actually then go out and be effective in their ministries. The call of the gospel is what drives us, and it determines what we do with our lives, because Jesus called us, first and foremost, to have a relationship with Him, and second, to go into the world. So it's helped me to discover who I am. It's that bundle send, training, working with other people, mentoring, challenging people to the core essential calling of the gospel. And I have lots of different ways that I do that with different people.